Good morning and welcome to Church at Home with Rachael for Friday, the 17th of December. I was going to say July for some reason. It's not like it's balmy outside or something. You know what? We're a week away from Christmas Eve and we are in the throes of having to rush to get Christmas shopping done and recognizing that there's not a lot of variety in some places and all of the prices have gone up. Everything's very expensive these days. And we have new restrictions in the rest of Canada, except Alberta. We're loosening restrictions, which is just it's its own little church at home talk, isn't it? But as we get closer to Christmas Eve, as we get closer to Christmas, I think for a lot of people, nostalgia becomes a really big thing. On Thursday afternoon, Rob had gone into Edmonton and was on his way home and driving down Highway 14 past Bruce. And he saw the Bruce Hotel and he called me and said, "Do you want to make reservations for tomorrow night for the Bruce Hotel?" And so I gave them a call, and lo and behold, they have seats available for us today at 5 o'clock. So we're going to drive out there. It's about an hour away. We're going to drive out there and have a really good steak supper and just sort of celebrate Rob being on leave and me take a break from all the Christmas services and preparations for a little bit. But the thing that the steak, I have to tell you, give a plug here for the Bruce Hotel. The steak is phenomenal. The food is good. And it certainly isn't high class. It's a buffet style. You serve yourself. I don't know what it was like before COVID, but we've only been able to go there since COVID. So, but it's in an old train station, I think, but it looks very much like an old-fashioned farm house. And inside, it can't get much closer to being like my Grandma Ray's house. It just really can't. The things that they have on the walls, the color of the paint, everything about it just reminds me of going up to the farm. The music that works, the whole thing. And there's a real sense of family and familiarity there. When you go up to get the really good homemade salads, they're not from a bag. They're not some fancy thing that some chef made. They're good old-fashioned sandwiches or salads like Caesar salad and potato salad and, the tortilla chip salad and that salad that has broccoli. Sorry, dude just heard something inside it. He'd speak up. The broccoli and raisins and it's so good. And then you have your beans and your steak and your boiled potatoes and all those things. And it just feels so homey. It feels nostalgic. And every Christmas I get thinking about home, of the farm. And because that was our traditional thing. That was the place that was stable. We moved around a lot when I was a kid. Now, don't get me wrong. I love moving. It's my thing. So that wasn't a problem. But having the farm was a place that was like a touchstone. No matter where we lived, whichever part of the province we lived in, we could always go back to the farm. And nothing there really ever changed. The flooring might change once every 30 years or, there might be some new things because somebody had moved in or somebody had moved out. But for most part, the farm never changed. The door was never locked. And just in case it was, the key was on the shelf above the door in the back kitchen. The wood stove was always on and warming the place up. And there was usually a really good smell of some kind of baking. My grandma made a lot of pies. And this blue sweater. Grandma had a pink and a blue sweater. She wore the pink one most often, and one of my other cousins got that one. But this blue sweater is important to me because one night I was 16. I was staying up there, and she was looking out the window. She was peeling potatoes for dinner, and she looked out her window from the kitchen, and she saw 3 calves high-footing it in her pansy patch down by the drive shed. And I have never seen my grandmother move so quickly, nor had I ever heard her swear. She was a gentle woman, and lo and behold, she was out that door with a broomstick so fast because the cow had gotten into the garden looking for her calves, and she was, by golly, going to chase them out. They were ruining her garden. And she was wearing this sweater. So when Grandma died, I got this sweater, and it means a great deal to me because it reminds me of lots of good times, but it also reminds me that during difficult times, there was always hope and peace. There was always a sense of a big warm hug, a really warm house with the wood fire, probably, knee highs drawing on the inside line in the kitchen, and the fly swat or the fly catcher over the table. It's not hygienic, but it was there. But that sense that no matter what's happening in your life, you go back to the farm and you can be safe, you can be warm. As I said, it wasn't always peaceful. It wasn't always a good place to be. It wasn't like going home to the farm meant that Grandma and Grandpa were going to tell you did everything right, even if you messed up. But it was a place where if you messed up, you could go home and you could go there and feel like you were loved, and you had an opportunity to start to work things out, to figure out how to fix whatever you had done, or to heal a broken heart, or to just rest after exams, or whatever it is. Your heart, your soul needed some solace. You could go to the farm. And so Christmas, my grandma died on Christmas Day when I was in 1987, I believe. I was 16. And my grandpa died 9 months and 2 days later. So I haven't been back to the farm for a very long time. But in my heart, things that remind me of the farm are almost as good as being there. It's like pipe smoke. My grandfather smoked a pipe, and God help you if you are a pipe smoker and I'm anywhere near you, because I'll be like drawn to you like a magnet, because it just brings me into a place of peace. And at Christmas, a time that should lead us into a time of peace and grace and hope, there is also a sense, I know for me as a priest, but I know for lots of people, there is a sense of heightened activity and not being able to keep up with things, and the anxiety about how do we pay for all of these things, like financially, how do we keep up with the bills and all of those things that really lends us, the very season that lends us to needing a safe place to fall, is what gives us that safe place to fall. It's kind of ironic that we have turned something beautiful like the birth of Jesus, which is a comfortable, generous, gentle place where we can come and recognize that God knew how much we needed a safe place to fall. And so he gave us not only a place, but himself, Emmanuel, God with us. A place of great nostalgia, a place where we can rest knowing that we are at peace, we are loved. We won't always have our problems fixed for us, but we have a place where we can go to work through the problems. And that place can be church. It can be a farm. It can be a home. It can be a corner of a living room. It can be, for some people, it may even be your bathroom, because that's the only door that's got a lock to keep the kids out. But that gentle place where you can just go and take a deep breath and say, God, be with me. And recognize that indeed, that sense of Christmas gift, that sense of Jesus with us, Emmanuel, God with us, is present. For me, this sweater and a few other things around my house and the Bruce Hotel remind me, they make me nostalgic. They bring me back in a sensory way to that place where I knew that everything was always going to be okay. Which I think the greatest gift wasn't so much that my grandparents gave me that peace, but that they were signposts on the way to a greater peace. That place, that farm, the people who gathered there reminded me always of the greater gift of God and of his son, Jesus Christ. And that is the nostalgia that I think I hold on to at Christmas time. So as this week goes by, this next coming week, as I get busier and busier and trying to figure out how to do Christmas here in this parish, is my first time in person. Last year we were online. I will probably hang on to this and look to it quite often. That and my pocket of chewing tobacco of my grandfather's that still has a scent after 33 years actually. And I will turn to those things, not because they bring me solace in and of the people they remind me of, but because the people they remind me of turn me once again along the path toward Bethlehem, to that place where Jesus is born in my life, wherever that Bethlehem may be. Whether I find it in a bathroom with a locked door, or in a church sanctuary, or at the Ag Hall in Edgerton, or simply in my car as I drive from place to place. Where Jesus is born into my life is a place that brings me peace and hope and reminds me of the gifts that God has given me in my life. So I pray that that over the next week, up until Christmas, you will find those pockets of peace, those moments of nostalgia that bring you back to a place of comfort and joy, a place of safety and security, that remind you of where you once knew all would be well. And when you remember it, also points you to that future, that sense of where Christ is, where you know that all will be well again. Please know that you don't have to be happy at Christmas. You don't have to be merry. You just need to be honest. So if this is a wonderful time of the year for you, wonderful. God bless you. If this is a difficult time of the year for you, God bless you. Let it be what it will be. And always know, Emmanuel, God with us. Jesus Christ is with us. So whatever it takes for you to feel that sense of peace and security and comfort, go and get it. Or go and sit with it, imagine it, hold on to it in your soul. And let that help you to buoy you up. Let Jesus reach you through those memories and those moments so that you know that you're not doing any of this alone. Have a great day, a good weekend. I will see you again on Sunday for our midi worship, the lessons and carols without the carols, and on Monday for Church at Home with Rachel. Have a great weekend, everybody.